12.5, we will look at some of the uses of what is called subjunctive verbs. And the subjunctive verb basically just means that the verb stem ends on an E instead of an A. There's quite a little bit of theory about why that is so, which I'm not going to cover in this module, and you're welcome to look that up in Mrs. Bryant's excellent textbook. And we're going to look at 4 different forms that often uses the subjunctive, and you will find many uses for these particular 4 constructs. The first one is the prefix Khawu, which literally translates as won't you please, and can be used when you want to ask for something politely, and it's one of the most polite ways to make a request. So just the thing to note here is that even though this is the present tense, the verb is ending on an E instead of on an A. And we can just look at a few examples. So Khawu is the singular form of this particular construct, meaning please you, where kani is the plural form of the construct, meaning please all of you when you are speaking to a group of people, for example, if you're a teacher addressing a class. So if we just look at a few examples, Khawu hambe, please go. Khawu mamele, please listen. Khawu phinde, please repeat. Khawu zekelele, please slow down. And this is very useful when you're speaking to somebody and they're replying to you in Xhosa and they're speaking very fast and you want them to just slow down the pace. If we look at the plural form of that, we're only going to use kani, and you can see that ni again is our plural you all. Kani hambe is if you're asking all of them to please go. Kani mamele, please all of you listen. Khawu will be coming up regularly in a lot of our phrases when we are, for example, in the shops or at the garage or speaking and requesting things from colleagues. Our second construct we've come across before, and that is the verb Cela, which means request or beg. It's also a way to ask for things politely when you want somebody to give you something. So the examples that you're already familiar with there is ndicela amanzi, I request water, or ndicela ilift, I request a lift. But note that if you are asking for an action after the cela, so there's going to be a second verb in that sentence, that second verb will end on an e. So, ndicela uvule ifestile, I request you to open the window. Cela also a very useful word to use to be able to ask for things politely, and much better to use than funa, which can be quite rude. Our third construct is the prefix ma, which means let, or should, or had better, or be allowed to. It has sort of a lot of subtle meanings that one slowly gets used to. We'll look at a few little examples here. But again, the verb is ending on an e, that subjunctive verb. So our first example there is mandi hambe, I'd better go. Masisebenze, let us work. Mawusebenze, you should work. Mani kawuleze, you should all hurry. And whether it should or let or had better will be understood through the context of which you are using these particular constructs. Our last construct is kufuneka, which is actually using the word funeka, which is the neutral form of funa, which means want. So funeka, the verb, means to be desirable or to be wanted, but in this context, to be needed. And kufuneka, using that indefinite ku, means it is needed, and is often used when we use the word it is necessary that, or must, or you need to do this. For us as medical professionals, this is quite a useful word. So for example, kufuneka utate ipilis, you must take your pills, or kufuneka ubuye kwiveki izayo, you must return next week. It's very useful to know these 4 constructs well, both in being able to create your own sentences, but also be able to understand them in conversations.